Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Wow Wednesday. As you know, I'm your host, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network, bringing you this midweek boost of motivation, education, and inspiration to support you in consistently moving forward to have the impact you are here to make. And let's also talk about enjoying the income you are here to receive. My guest today is a dear, dear friend, colleague, mentor to me, mentor to so many in our community and around the world. Burge Smith-Lyons is with us today. Delighted to have you with us, and I'll bring you on in just a moment. First, I want to share a couple of quick announcements in the wild world of Women's Prosperity Network. And the first is an invitation for you to join me this Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm hosting a class that's called Stand Out for Success, The Secrets of Self-Promotion. And the reason we put this class together is we know what you want is to make more of a difference in the world, a positive difference, to enjoy the income. And there are certain things that might get in your way here or there. So I'm going to share with you on Friday the what, the where, and the how of getting yourself more visibility, getting greater exposure so that there's more people raising their hands saying, yes, I want to work with you. So if that's for you, join me this Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern. And you can get the information for that at our website, womensprosperityNetwork.com. Just simply go to the events calendar and you'll be able to register for that. Yesterday, we held our group, our members only coaching and conversations corner, which was stellar. So for any reason you're not yet a gold member, be sure to check that out and join us. You can try it out for $1 for free. No, not for free, for $1, for $1. Yeah, that's how that works. And then also on the third Tuesday of the month is our networking with a twist. So we've got lots of ways for you to continue to expand, to grow, and enjoy your life at greater and greater levels. And our guest today is going to support you in doing just that. Welcome, my dear, dear friend, Burge Smith-Lyons.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I can't wait to play.
I am so excited, and we have been playing together for about 10 years now, I think. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. And Burge has been a part of our community, one of our prosperity partners, and the work she does is transformative on so many levels. So let me tell you a little bit about her. Then we'll dive into the topic today of giving your way to prosperity. So Burge Smith-Lyons is the founder and CEO of Essence of Being, the Healing Forest Foundation, and the Conscious Leadership Academy. For more than 40 years, meaning right out of the womb, for more than 40 years, she has helped thousands of men, women, and children and companies globally with emotional and spiritual healing, self-development, communication techniques, relationships, abundance, team building, and leadership development. She's an international best-selling author of 4 books, a motivational and keynote speaker, a channeler, a spiritual healer, hypnotherapist, and relationship and communications expert. She has built a school in Liberia, Africa, and is a leading thought leader on the live streaming Awakening Giants on Plex TV, as am I. And she's a partner with us, as I mentioned. She's also part of the faculty for one of my other business ventures called the People Skills Academy. And she has launched the Conscious Leadership Academy in North America, Africa, and Europe, and has taught live transformational workshops on 6 continents. We are blessed and grateful to have with us today, Burge Smith-Lyons.
Thank you, Nancy. You're making me blush. I'm like, I have to hold my breath on that one. That was great. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
It's who you are. All right. So it may seem counterintuitive to say that we can give our way to prosperity. So let's dive right in.
So I get my story or my sharing about why this came to be and how this all happened, about this concept about giving and receiving as the same energy. Not so long ago, I was I got a divorce. I was a single mom. I had lost everything. I'd gone bankrupt. I was basically, all I had to my name was a car with one headlight and one door that didn't open. And I had to crawl inside the window to get to my kid because my door didn't open. And at that time, it's like everything just kind of fell apart. And I don't know if any of you out there have ever felt that way and said, why is this happening to me? Why? I'm a good person. I'm doing I'm adding value. I'm a good person. Why is this happening? And so I was teaching workshops at that time as well. And I kept thinking, why? I've lost everything and I don't understand this. And what did I do wrong? And you may be asking yourself that too sometimes about, gee, I don't know what happened to me and how do I get out of this mess I'm in, right? So basically what I ended up doing was I learned all of these things anyway. I was teaching the principles of law of attraction and allowing and trust and allow and don't ask how. That's one of my favorite things I say. And I kept thinking, what did I do wrong? And so I ended up raising my vibration. I realized that what I needed to do was to raise my vibration up enough to where I felt like I was adding value again because I felt so low. I was in scarcity. How did I turn scarcity into abundance? How did I turn self-doubt into self-love, right? So I ended up appreciating everything around me and appreciating bringing people around me that could remind me of who I really was and to not give up. And I didn't give up on myself. And so I started I continued to give to people something that I had. Because when I gave somebody something, whether it be $1, whether it be a smile, whether it be something that I had that they didn't, I gave them something and that filled me up with appreciation. That filled me up and I received that, oh, I'm doing something, I'm adding value. And what ended up happening is my level of vibration went up. For me, I felt like, oh, I'm doing something that I'm really excited about and that I can share. And my level of my vibration went up. And every time I did that, I realized that the more I gave, the more I received, because I received something back from that. And the more I received, the more I gave. And it just kept compiling, as Einstein said, compounding. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to touch upon something that you shared, because here you are at a true breaking point. You really didn't have much to give. And I know that I've been in that situation as well, where I didn't even feel like I had something to give.
Right.
So I love the context in which we can develop from. Give $1, give a smile, give something that you have that someone else doesn't. And I think if we were to get stuck on, oh, I don't have anything to give, now you're still back in the doldrums and you're not raising your vibration. You're actually being trapped in that swirl, right?
Exactly. And so it's sort of priming the pump, right? This is an old, I'm so sick of it. I almost said it. So priming the pump is that old pump where you just prime it and prime it and prime it, try to get the water out. And you just keep priming it and keep priming it. And eventually the water comes out. And so what ends up happening for many people, especially if you're in a place with this isolation that we've been in, you can tap into a lot of the depressed state, isolation, all these things that have been happening recently with people. You can really tap into that and stay there. And so my suggestion is you prime the pump, because the more you do that, eventually it'll come out. And what ends up happening with a lot of people, they'll say that, right? They'll say, I don't have the money to give. I can't give any money. And so what you do, like you said, it keeps you back in that spiral. And so if you keep priming that pump and not give up, and a lot of people will prime it and they stop, prime it and they stop, prime it and they stop. They look for the evidence right away. I have to gather evidence to see that it's working. So it's that faith, I think many of us need a faith lift, is what I call it,
Yeah. Well, so I agree, 1,000% with what you're sharing here. And when you have really dire circumstances facing you, how do you lift yourself up? Like if everything around you appears to be like in total shambles and crap, you know, how do we step out into faith? Because that's not always easy.
So you never change things. This is one of my Bucky quotes. You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. So it's the idea of no matter where you are, if you look to your left and you look to your right and you look up and down, you can see something in your life that you can be grateful for. Mm-hmm. You can force yourself to have that gratitude or raise that level of appreciation. And then what I mean by, and I want to just make sure everybody understands, it's not that you give something in order to get back. That's not the energy behind it or the intention behind it. It is you are sharing something with yourself. You're giving somebody something in order for you to feel good or have your vibration raise up, and it matches even more and even more and even more, because the more you give, the more you receive, the more you receive, the more you give. And it's, you remember, Nancy, you were a baby, right?
Yes, I was.
And okay, so I think all of us, can be in that category. We were all babies. So think about it. When you're loving on a baby and you're saying, you're so cute, you're such a cute little baby, and that baby looks up at you and goes, oh, it's receiving. It's absolute receiver. It receives the essence of who you are, the love that you're giving, whatever that is. And what does that do to you? What does that do? It makes you feel how?
Makes you feel good. It makes me feel loved. And like, think of when the baby smiles back for the first time.
Yeah, it just warms your heart, and it gives a gift back. So the point of this is that we're all babies. We've all been there. We've all been receivers. And it's a conditioning through all of our life, whatever our life has been, whatever the evidence we've had about giving and receiving. If we could just remember that we're all meant to be receivers. Mm-hmm. And so if you block it in any direction, whether you block it in the giving part or you block it in the receiving part, it blocks it. It is a cycle. It's an energy that is evolving. It's the same energy going around. And it's spiritually inappropriate in my world to not receive.
That's one of the
say again?
This is one of the biggest lessons I got from you on learning to receive, because I'm really good at giving. And receiving was uncomfortable at times. So let's dive into what makes it uncomfortable.
So there are a lot of reasons why it could be. And what we're going to do is play with that, because I am going to do a little exercise with everybody. So if you have a pen and paper, we'll find out what makes you uncomfortable, perhaps, or what your belief systems are around that, or your subconscious beliefs, or things that I call bubble talk. Things that bubble talk is that unconscious thought that keeps you from getting what you want. It's like a little bubble above your head, like the cartoon characters. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're thinking up here in that subconscious. You may do affirmations and say, I'm worthy and I deserve and all of those things, and I am enough, all that. And yet maybe your evidence in your physical world has not shown up that way as much as you'd like, perhaps. And so the conscious and the subconscious is not aligned. So we're going to go into a little bit of that subconscious today, just to find out what's, dig around with a stick and see what's in there around that. And then you can decide and discern what is blocking you from receiving. Why do we have trouble doing that? So for a lot of people, and I'll just give you one example, a lot of people feel like there are strings attached, and it's a learned thing. There are strings attached. If I receive from someone or something, okay, whether it be the government or a person or the universe, if I receive something from someone, that means I owe them.
Wow.
It's a transactional experience that we have learned. Now, as a baby, we don't do that. As a baby, we don't go, no, don't love on me. Let me go wash your car for you first before you can love on me. No, it's not a transaction, initially, but we have learned that there might be strings attached, that we owe people something, or what do they want from me, because of that trust thing, because maybe we've had evidence in our life that we can't, that people are not trustworthy. So there's a lot of reasons behind it, but that's usually a big one about the strings attached. It's like, what am I gonna, I'm independent. It's very socially acceptable to not receive. I could do it on my own.
That's
I
another
don't need your help.
for sure. How about that bit? And maybe you're going to go into this, so I don't want to blow anything. It boils down to receiving compliments, right?
Sure, absolutely. That's one of the things that you can do to prime the pump. So that's a tool that you can use, is whenever you receive a compliment, just notice, and we play this a lot in our little previews that we do, but we're not going to do it today. But if someone gives you a compliment and you discount it and you go, oh no, this old thing, no, that's not a big deal. No, they give you like I like your dress. For many people, our first knee-jerk reaction is, oh no, this, or we give it back. We either discount it and we say, yeah, no, that's okay, or we give it right back. So you too, your dress looks great too. Mm-hmm. And we don't allow it to come in and receive it. We block it, and we don't even know we're doing it.
Right.
And so one of the priming the pump tools is to be able to say thank you. Just say thank you. And the more you say thank you, okay, even if you think, what do they want? Even if you're like, I don't believe them. If you just learn to say thank you and breathe it in, then if you do that, it really does shift your energy on so many different levels of learning how to receive again, and to do so because you deserve it no matter what. What if, Nancy, what if you deserve? And what if you deserve to receive and you don't have to do anything in return?
That was really not easy for me to learn, but I've learned it now.
Yes, you have.
We've been
working on it. Yes, it's been great. Yeah. And it works,
And it works. And here's the thing, it's going back to that baby. As little babies, we were just born to be receivers, like you say, and somewhere along the way, the messages got mixed that you have to earn it to deserve it.
That's right. So what if, I propose this for all of us, what if we deserve it simply because we exist? Mm-hmm. What if we don't have to prove anything to anybody that we are worthy? And what if we can allow the things that we deserve without any strings attached? What if we just allow it? And so think about it with the best way to do it is a compliment. If somebody tries to give you something or what, just say thank you, receive that, even if you don't believe it. Okay. And you can do this with love, by the way, not just with money. So you can do this with love. If somebody says, I love you. So say, I love you, Nancy, to me.
I love you.
Love you too. Say it again.
I love you.
Love you too. So I didn't really receive that. You can feel that energy. It's like it's immediately given back, right? And so oftentimes another way to play with this is to say it again, please, to me.
I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. And so what ends up happening is you can say, I love you too, if you want to. My husband does that to me often. He'll say, I love you. And I'll say, thank you. And it sounds weird and it's awkward and it doesn't sound right. However, what that does is, again, it's priming the pump. It's priming the pump to allow yourself to receive. And if you choose to intentionally, you can say it back. I love you too, if that's how you feel. Sometimes I don't say it back, but it depends. So it is a way of receiving it in a truly intentional way, and you're consciously receiving.
It feels different. And here's the thing. So let's go back to what you talked about at the beginning about raising your vibration and priming that pump. I love you too. There's no feeling that's embodied in that transaction.
Right. And it's kind of it's a throwaway for many of us, right?
Yes.
I love you. Yeah, I love you. Bye.
Yeah.
which is okay. I mean, I know that that's a salutation or a greeting or a goodbye. However, the whole point of this is to be conscious about it, to be a conscious creator, to be a conscious receiver. Okay. And to consciously choose to receive every day. And this is what happens. If you're saying yes, right, and you're receiving it, but at the same time, you are putting your hand up and saying, no, 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 I can do it myself. So the universe or God or energy or great spirit or whatever you want to call that out there, your source, you're giving two signals. You're saying, I choose it, I want it, I deserve it, those types of things, I choose to receive it. But you're also saying, not really. So you're giving very mixed signals. Mm-hmm. And so clarity leads to power. If you can just let go of the resistance, it's sort of like driving a car. You put your foot on the gas. That's what you want. That's what you desire. That's what you're choosing. That's what you're affirming. And yet you're also riding around with the brake on going, I don't know, I don't deserve it. Or what do I have to do for it? Or not really, I can do it myself. Those types of things. Mm-hmm. And when you let go of the brake, right, you're going 100 miles an hour, you can allow the receiving to come. But for many of us, we just let go of our gas. We let go of our desires. We know how to settle. So how many of you have settled?
Powerful. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and it feels safer and or more familiar to keep your foot on the brake.
Right. 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 It's what we're used to. We're like, oh, well, it is what it is. Or it just wasn't meant to be. I'll do that next lifetime or whatever. And so we give up. We let go of our desire. And the minute you let go of your desire, it also lets go of some of the energy, the life force that you have to be able to keep moving. Because things happen in the world where we are attracting all kinds of things in the world. And it's been a challenge for many people, specifically in the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. And people right now are saying, oh my God, we're going into a recession. There's a lot of angst that you can tap into. Yeah. And so the question is, where are you going to show up on your belief? Because your beliefs are very important. Okay. Your beliefs, your subconscious actually rules the roost. Okay. And so if you are believing that this is where we're headed, okay, then that is what you start focusing on. And as you know, what you focus on expands, and that's what you keep seeing. It's called a reticular activator in your brain. So it's actually what you start focusing on is exactly what you see more of. Now, I'm not saying go in denial, but although positive denial might be another way of looking at it. However, it's a matter of being open and believing that you can listen. It's always a good time to make money in any economy. Most billionaires are made in these times when it's an issue.
We started Women's Prosperity Network in 2008. Right? Like, get that, people.
Right?
This global organization and community. We
right.
started it in 2008. And I had the funniest thing we did our first conference, never held a big conference like this before, 200 people, 25 vendors. And I was talking to a gentleman and he's like, what are you, crazy? You're never going to sell all those tickets and all those sponsor booths. And I was like, oh, really? Let's see about that. And we placed a bet, and if I won the bet and sold out my sponsor booths and stuff, he bought me dinner or vice versa. And it was a delicious dinner that he bought me. So here's the thing. You can make money in any economy. You've got to first keep your vibration high. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on there's a lack of opportunity? Or are you focusing on the fact that there is opportunity and I can add value to people's lives during this time? I can give and I will receive. It's all connected.
It is. And if, like I said, if you block the energy in there anywhere in it, it blocks the energy. So let's go and play. Let me give you some things to do. We're going to do some stream of consciousness writing. Will that work?
Yeah, for sure. So grab a pen and a piece of paper or pull your phone out and take notes on your phone if you're one of those hip cats that knows how to do that. Bring a pen and paper.
It's called being young. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah, so this is stream of consciousness writing. So I want you to just write down the first things that come up, okay? So I'm going to say a sentence, and I want you to finish the sentence. And don't think about it. Don't edit it. Don't try to figure it out. Just the first thing that comes up, even if it doesn't make sense, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Rich people are the second one is wealth is the third one is the worst thing about money is the worst thing about money is first thing.
Fascinating, isn't it, everyone?
Yes. Yes. Next one is I have a fear of receiving money because write the first thing that comes up. I have a fear of receiving money because
Okay.
the next one is I have a fear of giving money because I have a fear of giving money because
Eye-opening, my friends. Keep with it.
two more. When I touch money, and I don't mean Bitcoin. When I touch money, I feel and the last one is if money were a person, how would I describe him or her? If money were a person, how would I describe him or her?
So interesting.
Yeah, give money a gender if you can.
Oh, I didn't do that. All right. Huh.
Yeah, and just so you can't do this wrong. So just kind of notice what you wrote. And if you didn't write the sentences down, I'll tell them to you again so we can kind of discuss this with you so we can see what came up for you if you choose to. And then we can kind of give you some tools on how to shift that if there's anything that you want to shift. So rich people are, wealth is.
Slow down because I'm going to type them for people.
All right. Rich people are.
Wealth is.
Wealth is. The worst thing about money is I have a fear of receiving money because I have a fear of receiving money because I have a fear of giving money because when I touch money, I feel.
Second.
And the last one is if money were a person, how would I describe him or her? Yeah.
These are fantastic. All right, I have placed the questions for you on Facebook. They're in the comment section, and then I'm also going to put them in the chat just in case you miss them and you might want to go back to them. Beautiful, beautiful. So fill those out. We're going to open up for question and answer, and we would love to hear from some of you on some of those answers because it's pretty darn cool. So let me get all of that ready. And before we bring people on, Burge, transformation is a process, getting to the essence of our being and really, getting rid of the breaks that are in the way of what we want takes time. It's not going to happen in a 90-minute, 60-minute session together today. And I know that you have another class scheduled where they can go a deeper dive with you. Will you tell everybody about that, please?
Sure. I'm doing a complimentary free, what I call a preview of Essence of Being. It's going to be August 11th in the evening, Eastern Standard Time. And Nancy will put that in there, 7:30 to 9. But it's a free preview, like a glimpse into even more of this. We kind of go into a lot more about relationships, around money, around purpose, around life in general, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, those types of aspects of you. And to prepare you, because we are doing Essence of Being, by the way, in Atlanta. If you're coming to the Atlanta area this weekend, we're offering it this weekend. It's a big 3-day experience. And then we're coming into Florida in September again. Yay! So we'll be in Fort Lauderdale in September doing it again after 3 years. But this particular event that we're talking about now is a preview, so that you can get even more immersed in more of that subconscious belief that could be blocking you from any of those things. And so I'm inviting all of you to come play with me on that. And then if you come to that, I'm giving a very special offer for the actual workshop, okay, which is, again, you can check all that out at essenceofbeing.com about all the different play shops, I call them, that are available.
Beautiful. So go to learn more, to experience more. And if you happen to be in the Atlanta area and you're ready to jump in with Burge this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go to essenceofbeing.com. If you're curious and want to learn a little bit more about yourself and the pathway that Burge has created to your essence of being, join her on August 11th. She's holding a free class, and you can get there by going to bit.ly/ all lowercase letters, EOB 0811. So it's bit.ly/ EOB 0811. And it's on August 11th. That's why we picked that for the code.
Clever.
Yeah. We work on those things. All right, let's do this. I'd love to hear some of your answers from those questions, and you can do them all, or you could pick one or two of them. And let's start taking our callers. If you're here on your phone, you can hit *6. If you're on your computer, just raise your hand. Let me go ahead. First caller I see with their hand up is Peggy Lee Hansen.
Oh, I'm first. Yay.
Hey.
Boy, this exercise is just amazing. Every time I go through it, there's some new things that are happening. When you said to give the person in the last question, if money were a person, and give it a gender, it wasn't until I gave it a gender that it flowed for me. And I would give her, or I would see her as beautiful, loving, and adventurous.
Nice.
So that was pretty exciting, actually, for that, because my other responses were like, if I had a fear of receiving money or giving money, I would see it as people would view me as rich.
And if people viewed you as rich, how would that be?
For when I wrote that, it was on the negative side.
Right. Because rich people are
stuffy.
Okay.
That was the first word, right? What comes out when we just allow it.
Stuffy. Yeah. So here's the thing. Whatever you wrote, any of you, for rich people, thank you, Peggy, whatever you wrote for rich people are, and if it's something negative, or if there's any kind of, quote, negative connotation toward the gender or whatever you wrote, look at it because in a way that if you were rich, then you would be stuffy. If you were rich, then you would be greedy. If you were rich, then, if people saw you as that, you talk about the millionaire left next door. You don't know people are rich, right? Because perhaps they want to hide that. And that is a learned response. That is a learned thing that they've seen evidence in the world that rich people are, if it's negative, right? Greedy or bad or dishonest or, overwhelmed. So, or stuffy. And so that right there, that one thing right there could be the subconscious block that keeps you from becoming rich, because who the hell wants to be stuffy, right? Who wants to be seen as a quote bad person, if that's what your belief is, or it's subconscious. You don't walk around thinking that, perhaps, or maybe you do, but that could be the block right there, that I don't want to become that because I don't want to be seen as that. Therefore, I'm going to have just enough money to survive, or just enough, and I'm going to hide it and not let people know how much I have, because money also is a very big secret in families, if you notice.
Yeah.
So that is a learned response. And the cool thing about this is, whatever you wrote down, and if that was something like that, you can see that now and go, wow. So you start looking for new evidence. Look for new evidence. People like me, or people like Nancy, or people like that in the world that, they're not bad people. Now, I have millions in assets. I have a husband of 25 years. My life has turned around and exponentially because of this.
Stuffy. You're not stuffy.
I'm stuffed up sometimes, but I'm not stuffy. No, I'm not stuffy. So my point is, if you look for evidence that these other people exist, and that's what you focus on, is, oh, well, these people aren't like that. So that can shift your whole block right there.
Yeah. And Peggy Lee, thank you for sharing. And you actually brought to mind, so you've done the workshops with Burge. You consistently are clearing away the cobwebs. And I think one of the challenges that faces so many people, why they stay stuck and feeling trouble, is they're not doing activities like this to uncover the little cobwebs that are still there. Because that's all that was, Peggy. Like, that's just oh yeah, guess what? Now I can clear it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because half my list was positive and enlightening, and the other half was still little crevices that still need to be touched on. And Burge, I'm coming to see you in September, and I cannot wait.
Yay! Me too. Peggy Lee.
Awesome, Peggy Lee. Thank you so much for being with us and for sharing. Let me go to our next caller. Phone number 404-272. Who's that? Your line is open.
It's Terry Lynn.
Hey, Terry Lynn. Nice to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. Hi, Burge.
Hi.
First time I've ever talked to her, but I've seen all kinds of things from her, and I've heard all kinds of great things about her. So it's a pleasure seeing you.
Thank you.
I answer these questions, but I really don't understand my answers. It's kind of crazy.
Well, do
I don't know
share.
where you got these questions from, but they are amazing.
40 years, honey. 40 years. Yeah, give us your answers. Yeah,
I
what
get
you got?
that. I get that. The one about if money was a person, my first response was Grinch. Stingy, cheap. And then when you said gender, I was like, it doesn't have a gender, it's fluid.
Mm.
But
Okay.
I think with a logical mind, because I've been a virtual assistant for 40 years and now I've added on the automation specialist. So I'm one of those techie, not creative people. So everything for me has a reason, a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting that right off the top of my head, I would pick Grinch because it's like the farthest thing away from what I would ever want to be.
Of course. And as I was saying to Peggy Lee, that if that is your belief system that just kind of came out, that money is that Grinch is a negative connotation. And many of us have been raised with that whole concept of Grinch and greedy and all of the lessons around that. And why would we ever want to become one? And so let me just stay far away as I can from money. Okay. Because I don't want to be touching or being around a Grinch. It's not something that I want to be associated with. And energetically and vibrationally, that is what you are sending out, putting out into the universe. Let's just call it that, putting out into the physical world. You're saying, I don't want to be around it. And so that in itself could also be another block or another break or a resistance to allowing the riches to come to you because you deserve it. And it's not, see, money is not, it's a tool. It's not good or bad, right? It's just a piece of paper or Bitcoin, you know, all that currency.
Right.
But my point is, it's just a tool that we use. And a lot of us do put our worth on our credit scores, on our bank accounts, on our assets, because the world does that. That's how perhaps the world can view us about who we are. Are we good enough if we have all these things? Or if we, you know, that is what we put our worth into. And so if we can let go of the fact that we are totally abundant and worthy and rich in our spirit, okay, and we are an abundant in the flow of a lot of things in our life, then that can alleviate some of those blocks that you might have. And it's just being conscious of it. So kudos. I'm glad you wrote that down, because now you're aware of it. Now you can do something about it. So the whole point of any of these experiences that we do with each other is to help support you being conscious about what you're thinking, because that's the most important thing. Is how you create is what you believe. What you believe is how you create.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Terry Lynn.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And number 4, my answer to that was I'm not financially fit. And I never thought about it like that. So I'm glad that you did ask that question, because that is something that I can do something about.
Awesome.
But I would have never been aware of it.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Burge. Everything they say about you is absolutely true.
Well, come play with me for real.
You're in Atlanta this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, honey.
Yeah, we're doing Essence of Being, the only one in Atlanta this year.
Just saying.
Yeah, I'll be in St. Simon's Island this weekend.
You go
and August the 11th, I'll be on a plane to Baltimore. I did this thing to myself of 100 speaking challenges, and it's unreal.
Good job, girl. Good job.
But maybe I'll come to Florida and catch you in September, because I have no angst with traveling.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. And Nancy, you know I love you.
I love you too.
You and the sisters are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for all you do for all of us.
My pleasure and my purpose. Thank you, Terry Lynn. Let's go ahead. We got lots of people in queue today, and I want to make sure you have the information. If you're in the Atlanta area, or you're ready to hop in on a plane or in a car, this weekend is a 3-day workshop, Essence of Being, that I've done, my sisters have done, many in our community have done. Like, if you need any vouching on the differences it makes in your life, just ring me up, because really transformative. And you can get that information at essenceofbeing.com. If you're curious, interested, want to learn a little bit more from this amazing master, go to bit.ly/EOB0811 and join Burge for a free class she's doing on August 11th. I'm going to open up let's go to Lawana Bradford.
Morning.
Morning.
Hey, Burge.
Hey, Luana.
As always, you're amazing. But I just wanted to share something that I had shared with you the last time I went to one of your sessions, and we were talking about how it's amazing that the subconscious has been permeated with either things that we've seen, heard, or experienced from our childhood. And my earliest childhood memory was I was probably around 2 years old, and I remember running around the house. Our house was full of people. My parents were entertaining. And I was saying, I'm rich, I'm rich. And I remember my mom pulling me aside and kneeling down, looking me in the eye. And she said, don't you ever say that to anyone again. We are not rich, we are poor. I didn't know what the word poor meant, but I knew it didn't sound right. And I said, I'm not poor, I'm happy. But that childhood memory, because I did come from a family of means, I felt embarrassed to even share how blessed we were as a family, especially coming as an African American, you know, in this country, and, you know, growing up in Europe. It was like, you want to kind of fit in and not share that we were blessed. And because of that, my parents have been amazing philanthropists, and my brother and I the same. And so because of that, and this is what you were sharing with me, Burge, I didn't realize that I was walking with one hand open and one hand closed. So now I have competing energies. So money is easy. I've never had a challenge in making money. It's the sustainability of it. Right? Because one hand is closed and one is open. So I'm in contradiction.
Right. That double message. And my experience of you, Luana, is that you certainly have shifted, and this is probably true for a lot of people, about being embarrassed about doing well and being successful because they want to fit in. And another reason why perhaps your mom or other people may have said that, for many people, it's like, they're going to take from me. And that's a subconscious belief too. It's like, if I tell people how successful I am or what I have or how blessed I am, then they're going to be jealous of me and they won't like me, or they're going to take something from me and then I'm going to lose it. And so there's this thin red line, or not red line, but a thin line that we could walk on about that. Is, how do I show up in the world, be successful, demonstrate that, and share it to add value on how to do it or how to experience it, and just be a demonstration of that, and not be afraid of the judgment that people have toward me. And that is, of course, subconscious beliefs, right? That's a way of shifting that about people can feel whatever they want to feel around you. But again, that's from your mother. And those kind of beliefs are handed down and handed down and handed down from generation to generation, just like your genes are. But my experience of you is you're very giving, and you're one of our biggest sponsors for our school in Liberia. And so the fact that it's in the flow is easy. And so I encourage you to continue to shine your light and share your successes, because then there will be those people that are jealous, and that is there. So you're not responsible for their happiness, and you're not responsible for what they think of you.
No, I truly appreciate that. And it was something, again, it is so important to have those coaches and guides around us, because I wouldn't have seen that. Even in peeling back the onion, I wouldn't have seen that I had this conflicting message within me, one hand open and the other closed.
And now you're like this.
Yes, yes. It's like, bring it on, universe.
That's why we do the work, right? So that we can more, have more, give more, do more. Like it's that's what we're meant to experience. So I love you, Luana.
Love you both.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That was so good. Oh, that was a good one. Love it. All right, let's go to Sharonata Pollock. Hello, Sharonata.
Hello. Oh my gosh. I love seeing the two of you together, like the magic duo up here in webinar land. Anyhow, thank you, Burge, so much. I haven't really played with you for a while, and you're always on my mind and in my energy field, and Nancy as well. Gosh. When you said earlier about, the giving, and we're always, and Nancy, I can relate totally to you, because so much of us are, we're just born as nurturers to be givers, especially as moms, Burge, this as well, our cup runs dry. So we're always not as open to receiving as we are as givers. So that was
until recently. Yeah.
Until recently, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's something that I've worked on for so long, and until recently, every single day, it's always a new day of receiving. So, and when you said something, I don't know what happened. I just started writing messages or, some conscious streaming or subconscious streaming when you were talking earlier. And I realized that because you said something that was really important. That was, of course, to be conscious to receive. You said something about being conscious to receive every day. Did you say that? I think you did.
Yes. The idea is to be aware and conscious and choose to receive. And so every day when you wake up, you say, I choose to receive consciously today. I now allow others to love and support me today, right? I trust and allow and don't ask how today. So
exactly. It was so good. So it really resonated. And when my subconscious caught that, I said, okay, time to start streaming some words. So out of that came, thank you. Really thank you is my energy exchange for because I've, switched from a service business to a product business. And so sometimes, whether you're a service or product or not, you're in business as an entrepreneur, solopreneur, or even a small team or a big team, you still get this stuff that comes in your head. I'm not good enough. We're not doing a great job. What am I doing here? Why am I doing this? Blah, 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 blah. And so when you said this, I said, thank you is my energy exchange for every single product we sell.
Ooh, very good.
Love it.
And then came, thank you for the abundance for every client and every product that is sold so we can continue building our team and business to $1 million.
Perfect.
Thank you. Perfect. No, I am a receiver, and what I focus on expands, and a manifester. So thank you. And I thought you might enjoy this one. I had 50-50 on the streaming with the money. So 50 great, 50 not so great, but that's okay. We got to keep clearing our subconscious and recorrecting. But the last one was money to me, if it was a person, is handsome, sexy, and a hunk of burning love, baby.
We love that. That was good.
Yeah, I have learned, I didn't used to love money. I used to be scared of money because I was scared of this. There's a lot of things,
Ralia says in the chat, ooh, I'll have some of that.
Right? Exactly. Thank you.
And that's perfect because a lot of people think money is dirty, right? And so one of the challenges I give people is just to get a bunch of cash and just roll around in it and sleep with it. It sounds crazy, but it's a matter of, it's just a piece of paper, right? But it's the energy that we put into that, and we think that it's dirty, or now that you think it's it's a hunk of burning love, right? So you don't need to do that. So because you're able to touch it and you're able to be with it and realizing it's not what your energy has changed around it. So that's great.
Yes, thank you. And what I really did, this is, I think, really important, and was something that I realized when I was writing this, is that it's kind of sad the way we have turned to money as an intangible item, because we don't carry cash with us anymore. And when I use Oh, well, yeah, you do. And I'm actually, that's what I'm starting to do more of, because, I need that tangible to say, yeah, I have this money. I can take this money, receive this money. And, and it's only been of recently, truthfully, that I started switching over to saying I need to use more money every day because in my hands to be able to receive and say, to give.
Renata, thank you for your share, that insight, your ahas around it, for being you in the world, my friend. You are magic. You are a manifester. And I love you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And Burge, I'll be there too in September to help you. We'll be there to volunteer. Thank you. Everybody take her workshop. It's fantastic.
It is fantastic. Let's go. So good. All right. I have put the link in the chat for the free masterclass Burge is doing on August 11th. Get more of this. You deserve it. You deserve to have abundance. You deserve prosperity. You deserve to clear these cobwebs, my friends. And this woman will show you how. So go to bit.ly/EOB0811. We've got lots and lots of people in queue. I know we're not going to have time for everyone today. So, Burge, can they email you if they have questions?
Sure. Burge at essenceofbeing.com, BURGE at essenceofbeing.com. Absolutely. And you can certainly come on the free preview and we can chat then. Yeah. Or just come to the play shop, just skip all that and just come to Essence of Being in Atlanta and just come to the one in Florida. And it's not just about the money. It's also about your beliefs about your purpose and relationships and love and connection and and health and all of that. Yeah. And the thing I want to say to encourage all of us is be mindful of the words that we're using, because money can mean a lot of different things to different people. So I was listening to some of the subconscious beliefs that you guys are writing down, and you might want to just change it to cash. If you, and my Essence of Abundance class is focusing just on that, right? But cash is a different kind of vibration to it than money. So if you're, and that's one of the tools is take $100 bill, put it in your wallet, keep it there so that you always know that you have it there, so that the vibration of scarcity is not as much as if you have nothing in your wallet, right? So it's another tool that you can use by just having it there. It's sort of like an energy backup of, oh, I could buy that, but I'm not going to, or I could use that, but I'm not going to, or I have that. And if you use that $100 bill, just replace it each time, because I always have a $100 bill with me, just so I know I always have it and it's there. And if I have to use it, I replace it immediately.
Beautiful. Great tips and tools. So much here. I'm going to recommend you go back and listen to this one, go to the class, and give yourself today the gift of this Essence of Being workshop, which is a gift not only to you today, but to the future you who's waiting for you to clear this crap. Let me just say, right? We all have, if my life will be great when, my business will be more successful, my relationships will be better when. Well, if you're saying those things, when can start right now. So get yourself to one of Burge's workshops. Let's go ahead. We are at the top of the hour. My friend, I love you so much.
Thank you.
That was good.
Yes, it really works. Like I said, now we have millions in assets. I've been able to teach around the world with thousands of people and build things, and it just adds so much value. And I'm full. I feel very full of gratefulness and certainly for you, Nancy and Trish and Susan, and for the community that we are immersed in and that you have built. I'm just so honored to be a part of that, and to continue to play with you has been extraordinary. Yes.
I receive that. I agree. And I see lots more ahead for all of us. So come on and play. Let the essence of your being shine. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week with another Wow Wednesday. Bye, Burge. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.